So today I'm going to show you a really simple and easy way to work out the key signature of a piece of music simply by looking at the manuscript. So first of all, key signatures can be spelt using sharps or flats, and each key signature represents two keys. One is a major key and one is a minor key, and these two scales are called relative major and relative minor. And they're related because they use the exact same group of notes and the exact same set of accidentals, and the only difference is that they start on a different scale degree. So the relative minor is always going to be 3 half steps below the major key. So say we have C major, the relative minor key, you would just count down 3 half steps. So from C we would go B, B flat, A. So the relative minor of C major is A minor. Let's take another example. Say the major scale we have is G major. You would count down 3 half steps, so you'd have F sharp, F, E. So the relative minor of G major is E minor. And you can reverse the process as well. So say for some reason you know the minor scale is F minor. To work out the major, you just count up 3 half steps. So F sharp, G, A flat. So the relative major for F minor is A flat major. So the first step to working out the key is to work out the major scale which the key signature outlines. So if the key signature is spelt in sharps, the last sharp will always be the major seventh of the major scale. So here the last sharp is an F sharp, and that is the major seventh of G major. If we look at this example, the last sharp is a C sharp, which is the major seventh of D major. Last sharp is a G sharp, it's the major seventh of A major. Last sharp is a D sharp, which is the major seventh of E major, all the way down to the last example. The last sharp is a B sharp, and that is the major seventh of C sharp major. And there's a similar trick for the key signatures spelt in flats. The last flat is always going to be a perfect fourth of the major scale. So you just look at the last flat and count down a perfect fourth, and that will give you the root of the major scale. So here we have a B flat is a perfect fourth above F, and the scale is F major. Here an E flat is a perfect fourth above B flat major. A flat, if you count down a perfect fourth, it will give you E flat major. D flat is the last flat here, count down perfect fourth, gives you A flat major. And then on this extreme example, the last flat is a F flat, count down a perfect fourth, it gives you C flat major. So this is a really good trick. Of course, it only doesn't work on C major, which has no sharps or flats, so you just have to learn that one. So the first step when working out a key signature is to work out the major scale that the key signature outlines. So if we look at this example, the key signature has been spelt in flats, so we use the rule, the last flat is an A flat, and that's the perfect fourth above E flat. So it's either in E flat major, or it's in the relative minor, which if we count down from E flat, 3 half steps, is going to be C minor. So I'd write these two down. You say it's either an E flat major or C minor. So the next stage is to work out which one of these it is. And you can do things like look at the bass note, especially the starting note and the ending note, depending on which excerpt you're given to look at. If you have the beginning and ending note, that will be a strong indicator. So if the piece starts with an E flat in the bass, which this one does, that will be indicating that the piece is probably an E flat major. And if it ends with an E flat in the bass, then that's a strong sign too, because most pieces start on the 1 chord. So for those of you who are studying music theory, the excerpts you're going to be given are probably going to be taken from the classical era. And in classical music, it was common for composers to compose using the harmonic minor scale. And that's basically a standard minor scale, but with a raised seventh. So this raised seventh isn't specified in the key signature, it only occurs in the music itself. So what you want to do is work out the relative minor scale, and then you want to scan the music for that seventh note. So for example, say you've narrowed the music down to C major or A minor. The seventh of A minor is G, and you want to raise it by 1/2 step, so you're actually looking for a G sharp. And you want to scan the music for a G, and if it's been raised by 1/2 step, then you know it's in A minor. But if it's a G natural, then the piece is in C major. So here's another example, and we have a flat key signature, so B flat is going to be the perfect fourth of F major. So it's either an F major, or if we count down 3/2 steps from F, we would get D. So it's either F major or D minor. Now, if it was D minor, we'd expect it to start on a D, which it does. So that's indicating that it's probably in D minor. But now we want to look for the seventh of D, which is a C. And we would expect if it's in D minor that it would be raised, and we'd have a C sharp, which is what I'm looking at here. So here's a good example of the raised seventh, which implies the harmonic minor scale, which is basically a minor scale, the flat six as usual, but a raised seventh. So it's basically a major seventh, but it's never dictated in the key signature. It's always only, signified by a sharp sign in the music. So the bass comes in here on a D, and it's got that C sharp. So, that's telling me that it's in D minor. Also, up here it says D mol, which I presume means D minor. Here is another example. Don't be put off by the old-fashioned notation. Rules still apply. Last sharp, C sharp. So C sharp is the major seventh of D. So it's either D major, or let's work out the relative minor, count down 3/2 steps from D, would be B minor. So let's look at the starting note is a D in the bass, so that's suggesting that it's probably D major. But if it was in B minor, it would probably start with a B in the bass. And we'd also be looking for a raised seventh in that minor scale. So the seventh of B is A, and we'd expect an A sharp. So let's find an A. Got an A here, and that's left as an A natural. And I can't see any A sharps, so that indicates that the piece is in D major and not B minor. Thanks a lot for watching. If you found this video useful, I'd really appreciate if you just give me a thumbs up. And please let me know any topics you want me to cover in future tutorials by leaving a comment below the video. Thanks a lot, guys. See you soon.